Good afternoon, everybody. For all the travel I've done and all the places I've been, this is my very first time in Berlin. What a fascinating city. I had a chance to take a walk and see the Brandenburg Gate last night. And when I did, I just thought back and I said, gee, 25 years ago, would anybody ever thought where we would be today? And then I quickly tried to think forward, because going forward, you don't have to think 25 years anymore. It's more like 5 or 10 years. Where are we going to be? What's the world going to look like? My goodness. Anyway, I'm here today to talk to you a little bit about setting up a company that's been the love of my life. It's called Open Skies, and if you can see on that airplane the little name called Lauren, that is my granddaughter's name. You know, I had a chance to work in British Airways for 30 years, and they had some of the most scientific code names for projects. And so I said, screw that, we're going to put a name that really means something to me. So we put Lauren, and so became Project Lauren, and it was a great opportunity. I just want to ask you to listen up and pay a teeny bit of attention. When the kids were younger, I don't know if when my children were younger, every now and again we'd go on road trips, car trips, and we would play rock and roll trivia. You know, it was a little bit like Where's Waldo, if you'd ever, name this tune for $50 or $5 or whatever it was. As the kids got older, I had to raise the stakes, but as they got older, they also got better, so it became a little bit expensive, but it was a lot of fun. There are 3 mentions, either words from a song, or, well, they are words from a song. There are 3, 4, 5 maybe of these. If you pick them and you can say the name of the group or the singer who's behind that, I've got 2 tickets from either Paris or Amsterdam for you on our airline. Okay, now you got to pay attention. You got to wait till the end, and it's not just about those rock and roll things. It's about what they're kind of saying. So I hope I know I'm shy, but I hope you're not shy. But there's a chance to win too. Okay. And in the beginning, there was Project Lauren, my little granddaughter. We named it Project Lauren because, frankly, 2 years ago, just about 2 years ago now, I was so impressed by my granddaughter, who was just learning how to walk. And every time she'd get up, she'd fall down. She'd get up, she'd fall down. I said, I think I'm going to have to learn that technique, because starting a business is not such an easy thing. I was right. Not only did we find out that Project Lauren hit Wikipedia, and that sort of stunned the crap out of us. Everybody working in the business saying, holy mackerel, it's on Wikipedia. So we felt, especially an old guy like me, felt, wow, we're getting cool. It wasn't exactly it, but it was getting there. And then we spoke to the people at Lavion pretty early in our development. I suppose it was probably around August of 2007. There are a lot of neat opportunities if we could put those 2 together, because we were both pretty much boutique airlines, and there was a lot of destructive competition. We'd end up taking taking bits out of our own bellies, and that doesn't make any sense, because the enemy wasn't each other. The enemy was not only legacy carriers, but legacy thinking. There's a whole segment of a market that could be attacked here that's been left wide open for years and years, and no sense beating each other up. And so we were able to put together an acquisition that made good sense for them and terrific sense for us. It gave us slots at Orly, because we dare to be different. We have to be different. And it gave us a French base. And that's a very important thing. That French base now gives us an opportunity to fly from Paris to points west, and to also consider to fly from Paris to points east. Our intention was to be a long-haul, point-to-point premium airline. We're not going to be we're never intended to be a lot of things, but we were intended to do that, and we continue to work on it. Life is sort of what happens when you're making all these plans. We made all these plans, and there we were in February, and we started to notice that fuel was starting to rise. Holy smoke, it was starting to go from $60 to $70 to $80 a barrel. The board was saying, Dale, is this still viable? And, oh yeah, it was viable, but it was less viable. And we were so busy putting together a business that a whole world around us was changing. We could feel it, we could see it, we couldn't put our arms around it. We knew things were going to happen, and it was just that spike in oil that sort of gave us a wake-up call, you know, because we're so busy planning an airline, and the whole world is deciding to do something else. Anybody else ever feel that with your business? You know, you're zeroed in on what you think your target is, and all of a sudden the world moved on you? Well, that happened to us a little bit. I'd like to say that we planned for everything, every single contingency. When we did our scenario planning, we were so proud. We had scenarios coming out of our ears. Did we get oil at 147.27? No. Did we predict this exciting time that we all live in now? I refuse to refer to it as anything other than the most exciting time of my life. Is it yours too? I mean, we are living in some really interesting times. Holy smoke. I mean, you're now in a chance for whatever you do, wherever you are, and that's the way we feel with our business, to really make a difference. Because your work today will be seen. You know, the people who are going to hide and run, and, oh, I want it the way it used to be, it ain't going to be that way ever again. And that's great. Because it's the way it is. We had this slide of some unfortunates. Now, it's very interesting. All of these players, as they sort of left the scene, MaxJet was the first one. That was in December of 2007, and after that, EOS, which was a pretty darn good little airline itself. And then after that was Silverjet. And they were all good, two of them running off a 767 platform. I get this question asked all the time. How come if three people have done this before, you know, what makes you think, you know, you're going to pull it off this time? Well, imagine if Thomas Edison had that attitude after the 500th mistake. He would have never invented the light bulb, because it took about a couple of thousand before he got it right. I'm not suggesting that there needs to be a couple of thousand in this space before we get it right. But it is to say that we are different. And there were two 767s there. There was a 757 with a very rich configuration. EOS didn't know whether it wanted to be first class or business class, and ended up being somewhere in, not Twitter land, but tweener land, which was in between the two. And that's, for any marketer, you know darn well, when you're stuck in the middle, it's not the place to be. It's very painful. And the other two 767s, just way too big an airplane to operate as you auger into a new market. And they all left in pretty short order. Okay. I think it was a combination of all those things for them. But probably the one, I'm not sure if the business model was right for them. And they sure as heck weren't as capitalized as they needed to be.